To light a gas burner, we use a flint striker. On the photo, the flint stone is in the tip of the striker's arm that has been taken out of the metal cup with a strike plate. The flint stone consists of an iron alloy, iron mixed with cerium, and when this is rubbed against the hard surface of the strike plate, small splinters come off, and the heat of the friction promotes their oxidation in air, and that creates the sparks. With Meeker burners, we can reach much higher temperatures, up to 1400 Celsius, than with the Bunsen burners. They have a grid on top, which produces plenty of small flames, and when these combine, the overall flame gets these hot temperatures. On the bottom is a shutter to regulate the air intake, and on the very bottom you see a little wheel that allows to regulate the gas intake. To ignite the Meeker burner, we close the air intake opening. It does not close to 100%, and then fully open the gas intake with a little wheel on the bottom. Then we open the gas line connected to the burner and operate the flint striker with two hands to firmly press the arm with the flint stone against the strike plate and then slide it. Hold it near the grid of the burner where the gas-air mixture is flowing out of the burner, and if you do it right, it ignites with your first strike. Now we open the air intake all the way, and that will generate this nice blue flame, and when you look at it from the side, you can see all these smaller flames that are part of the Meeker burner as a result of this grid that creates consequently this hot overall flame. So now we start the experiment, and the first step is to weigh out our reactor, which is a crucible. We weigh it on an analytical balance. In our experiment, we want to oxidize magnesium. We get a magnesium strip, and since magnesium is a relatively reactive metal, this magnesium strip has these black dots on it that are oxidation products that we need to remove using steel wool, and to wipe these spots off, that's called burnishing it, allows us to create a nice shiny surface, right, with very little of these oxidation products left. Next is to weigh the magnesium strip in the crucible that we had weighed before, and the difference between those two weights gives us the mass of that strip. Practice to hold the crucible with crucible tongs. They have to really be held firmly, because if they fall down, they break easily and they're not that cheap. You place the crucible into a clay triangle that is positioned on an O-ring clamped against the frame on your lab desk. Now practice to hold the lid of the crucible with the crucible tongs really firmly. They also break easily, and then place it on the crucible, leaving it slightly ajar, slightly open. Ignite the Meeker burner again and then slide it under the crucible, and it should be between 1 and 2 inches above the top of that Meeker burner. Notice how the iron of the O-ring glows with more and more intensity, which is an indication of the heat buildup and of some excited electrons in that material that you will learn about later in this course. After 5 minutes, the magnesium, most of it has reacted, and you can take the lid off to complete the reaction for another 5 minutes, where the remaining material has better access to the air. The lid just protects us from the bright light that magnesium emits when it is oxidizing. So after a total of 10 minutes of heating, we turn off the gas flow, wait 2 minutes or so for the most extreme heat to dissipate, and then open a desiccator by pushing the lid sideways off of the desiccator. And now with a really firm grip again, we take the crucible and place it inside the desiccator into one of the holes of that porcelain plate in there, and then close the desiccator again by sliding the top sideways across the rim that has this frosted glass and provides the airtight seal. After about 10 minutes in the desiccator, the crucible should be warm enough to touch. It can then be weighed, and it should now be a bit heavier because the magnesium oxidized and gained oxygen. And here you can see some of that material. It will then all be placed, crucible and lid, into a provided plastic container, carefully without breaking them, please. And then you wipe down your workspace, wash your hands, and you're ready to go.